cautiously, scornfully, she closes her eyes and wriggles past my touch. Okay, so she was, well, the owners took her to the vet and she was sterilized, that she couldn't have little kittens. And now she's maybe blaming the owners about it as well, because they took her natural ability to have little kittens away. But she avoids contact with her owners, right? And it says here she wriggles past my touch. Okay, so this is a cat. Just imagine cats, they have lots of attitude, right? And they decide if and when you're allowed to stroke them and if you can give them attention or not. Okay, so very different to dogs, because when you arrive home, they're just happy to see you, regardless of what's happened during the day. Okay, so I'm going through the stanzas again, one by one. So kom ons kyk die titel, Huiskat. If we look at the title, jy sal sien die titel het nie 'n lidwoord nie. There's no article in front of the title. It's not the Huiskat of a Huiskat. It's just Huiskat. So dit gaan oor die algemeen oor katte. In general, this whole poem is just about cats in general. Goed, nou moet jy onthou, ons tipe gedig is 'n Italiaanse sonnet. Our type of poem is an Italian sonnet. En dan hier het ons 'n vierreëlige strofe. En onthou, 'n vierreëlige strofe word 'n kwatryn genoem. Okay, so just remember that. Die kat strek hoog op 4 strak bene, buig behaaglik om haar luiperdslief te lek. Luiperdslief is beeldspraak, is 'n metafoor. It's an example of a metaphor. Dit dui daarop dat die kat nie heeltemal getem kan word nie. They're comparing her flank or groin to that of a leopard. Okay, and that is indicating that you can't tame this cat completely. She's compared to a wild cat in the wild. So there's something about her that is untamable. Rol om en lê verwelig, ook gevlek dat keel en bors en buik die son kan syk. Now, in one of our previous poems, we did speak about polies en beton. Okay, die herhaling van die en, the repetition of the en, and it does have a function and you need to know the function. Dit beklemtoon dat die kat met haar hele liggaam in die son lê. It's trying to emphasize that she's trying to get her whole body into the sun. It's not just that keel, bors en buik in die son kan lê. It now becomes that keel en bors en buik. Okay, so that her whole body is lying in the sun. En dit sê dan hier dat keel en bors en buik die son kan suig. So this whole line. Once again, we've got beeldspraak, personificasie, we've got personification. Die kat probeer haar hele liggaam in die son kry. Okay, so it's saying that the throat, the chest, the abdomen is sucking the sun, right? But sucking is actually a human quality, and it's just trying to emphasize that the cat is trying to get her whole body in the sun. But en dan die rympatroon in strofe 1 is weer omarmde rym. We've had examples of omarmde rym in our previous poems as well, and I see by the see that we actually did on Friday. But just I haven't indicated it next to the lines because I thought it might get a little bit overwhelming, the notes. But if we look, buig is rhyming with south, and lak and flak rhymes with one another. So it's A, B, B, A. Okay, so that is stanza 1. So you need to know it's Italiaanse sonnet. You need to know the metafoor, die personificasie, die rympatroon, en die polies en beton. Okay, so those are quite a few things that you need to pay attention to in stanza 1. Goed, ons noem haar kat van vye sonder siel en anoniem. Okay, so they say ja, ons noem haar kat. If we look here, dis ironie, there's irony. Die kat is 'n trippeldier, maar het nie 'n naam nie. It's ironic, they call her cat. She's a pet, but now she doesn't actually have a name. The owners decided just to call her cat. Okay, no name, so that, because usually if you've got a pet, you have a name for your pet. However, this one doesn't have a name. And so, sonneshiel en anoniem. Smal skerwe van 'n gaat. So here, is nog 'n metafoor, another metaphor. The dui op die kat se oë, it's referring to the cat's eyes. So if you look in the picture, you can actually see this brownish color. It looks like a stone. Okay, this is actually kind of how the stone looks as well, the gate stone. But so daar's twee goed. Die dui op die kleur van die kat se oë, it's indicating the color of the cat's eyes, maar dit dui ook op die kat se koue blik. But it's also referring to the cat's cold stare. There's no warmth in her stare. Okay, so there's two things here. Smal skerwe van 'n gaat. That's referring to the color of the cat's eyes as well as her cold look. Staar koud uit die droewige gelaat. Nog 'n metafoor. Another metaphor, dit dui op die vorm van die kat se gesig. It's referring to the shape of the cat's face. They're comparing it to a triangle. Kyk hier in my prentjie, can you see? But it lyk maar so half soos 'n driehoek. It kind of looks like a triangle. Arglistig, vloeibaar, soos 'n blink reptiel. Okay, so ons het weer beeldspraak, 'n vergelyking. Now remember I said, when you've got a vergelyking, you always look for the word soos. Hier het ons dit nou. Die kat se bewegings word met 'n reptiel of 'n slang vergelyk. So the cat's movements, you all know, if you've seen cats, they move fluently. Okay, and it's compared to that of a reptile or snake. Weer eens, ons rympatroon in strofe 2 is CDDC. Ons het weer omarmde rym. Once again, we've got line 5 and 8 rhyming and line 6 and 7. So ons het seal wat rym met reptiel en dan 'n gaat wat rym met gelaat. Therefore it's CDDC. Dan het ek hierbo gesê enjambment. Remember that's when one line goes to the next without you stopping at the end of the line, without it just it flows from one line to the next. And the function in this poem is to steek die streng rympatroon weg. It hides the very apparent rhyme scheme. You don't hear it because of the enjambment. So if I read, listen, ons noem haar kat en sy sonneshiel en anoniem. So I actually stop here, not there. So you don't hear that this is going to write. Then I go to the next one. Smal skerwe van 'n gaat staar koud uit die droewige gelaat. Okay, that you can hear. And then arglistig vloeibaar soos 'n blink reptiel, and then I go on to the next line. Okay, so it just, jy kan maar net sê dit steek die rympatroon weg. You don't even have to add that string there if you struggle to remember everything. Net dit steek die rympatroon weg. So that's the function of the enjambment. So in stanza 2 there's a lot of stuff. We've got twee metafore. We've got two metaphors. Ons het 'n vergelyking. We've got a comparison, or simile. Ons het ironie. We've got irony. En onthou, if they ask you about irony, it will always be a 2-mark question. En dan het ons nog 'n bietjie geleer van enjambment ook. We also got to do a little bit of enjambment as well in this stanza. Okay, and then remember, I said to you last week already when we did, or when I did haikus for the Vredefort Koepel, I said try and keep your metaphor, personification, and comparison or simile notes all the same color that you can immediately identify them in each poem. That is also something important to remember. But as by die laaste strofe, the last stanza, van los en lenig wees versadig. So nou comes hier 'n dubbelpunt. It's also important to be able to identify the punctuation in the various poems, their functions. So die dubbelpunt, na die dubbelpunt, volg 'n verduideliking. So after the colon, there's an explanation that follows. Nou het ons, sy sal nooit die veertig daar reggemaak, ekstase en angs van lewe voortbring smaak. Okay, so ons het hierso twee aandagstrepe. We've got two hyphens, dis 'n parentese, parenthesis. Dit gee 'n verklaring van hoekom sy nie kleintjies kan hê nie. It's explaining to us why she'll never experience the ecstasy and anxiety of having little kittens. Why? Die veertig haar reggemaak. The vet fixed her. Okay, now I say this is also ironie. Was daar ooit fout met die kat? That is also an example of irony, because was there ever something wrong with the cat? We as humans decide to have animals fixed because we don't want to sit with the hassle of caring for little kittens or little puppies, but also we do it on the other hand because if it's a cat that's just somewhere out there in the street, then they have little kittens the whole time and then there's too many little kittens. But we have decided as humans to take it upon ourselves to fix the animals. Okay, so die veertig daar reggemaak. That reggemaak is also an example of euphemism. It's stated in a softer way. Instead of saying the vet sterilized her, we say he fixed her. It sounds a little bit softer. Okay, dan sê ek hier, ekstase en angs, het ons contrast. We've got contrast in line 11. Ecstasy, anxiety. So it's this excitement opposed to the fear. Okay, so there we've got an example of contrast. Goed van lewe voortbring smaak, sal steeds en sal was alles hieruit styf. Ek hol my hand behoedsaam, smalend sluit sy haar oë. Nou het ons weer beeldspraak, personificasie. Once again, we've got personification. Die manier waarop die kat haar oë sluit, dui daarop dat sy nie aangeraak wil word nie. The way that she closes her eyes, a smiling is a human quality. You look down upon someone, okay, if you smile. Okay, so the way that the cat closes the eyes indicates that she doesn't want to be touched. Okay, so she's got a mind of her own. Dan het ek hierso weer gesê, onthou het 6 reëlige strofe, word 'n sextet genoem. A 6-line stanza is called a sextet. That's just a bit of terminology to know, because you never know if it's going to be asked. Ons rympatroon is weer omarm te ry. Once again, omarm te ry. So sy rhymes with verby. Reggemaak smaak, rhymes with one another, and stuif sluit. Okay, so dit is daai E, E. So we've got the lines rhyming in the middle, and then the arm around here of the outside 2 lines. But then on ons thema, our theme, remember we need to know the theme for every one of these poems. Die gedrag van 'n huiskat oor die algemeen. The behavior of a house cat in general. Okay, so this one, some of the words are difficult in the poem. Some of them are hectic Afrikaans words. However, if you understand what the poem is about, then it isn't that difficult because it's actually just about the behavior of a house cat. Okay, and if you've got a cat of your own, you know what I'm speaking about. They're the ones deciding if you are worthy of touching them on any specific day. Okay, so kom ons kyk so 'n bietjie. Hierdie vraag wat ek gaan doen vandag kom uit die DBE graad 12 Afrikaans eerste addisionele vraestel 2 van Februarie-Maart 2018. So the questions I'm doing this morning, they from the grade 12 Afrikaans first additional language question paper 2 of February-March 2018. Okay, so you just type in as I've written it on top there, and then you will come across the question paper. Okay, so kom ons kyk 1.1. Kies die korrekte antwoord uit die tussen hakies. Skryf slegs die vraagnommer en die antwoordnommer. Now remember what I said on numerous times, you only write down the question number and the correct word. Don't go writing out the whole sentence. Okay, please don't do that. So dit is like Italiaanse sonnet. Nou onthou, hoe verskil Italiaanse sonnet van 'n Engelse sonnet? How does the Italian sonnet different from an English sonnet? While Italian sonnet has the 3 stanzas, four lines, stanza 1 and 2, and then the 6 lines as the last stanza. The Engelse sonnet het die 3 quatraine, they have got 3 stanzas with the 4 lines each, and then the last rhyming couplet, the Shakespearean sonnet. Okay, that's the English one. Ons is nou hier besig met die Italiaanse sonnet, an Italian sonnet. Nou vraag 1.2 vraag, watter 3 dinge doen die kat in versreëls 1 tot 2? Now this is 3 marks. Okay, and it's actually 3 easy marks because they come from the text itself. So the 3 things that the cat does in lines 1 to 2. So die kat strak, die kat buig, en die kat lek haarself. Okay, so the cat stretches out, she bends down, and then she decides to lick herself. Okay, so dit is eintlik 3 maklike punte om te kry. It's actually 3 easy marks to get in the exam paper. Dan sien nommer 3, na watter ander lid van die katfamilie word in die gedig verwys. To which other member of the cat family is referred to in this poem, the word verwys is referred to. En onthou ek het vir jou gesê dit is die luiperd, it's the leopard. And specifically the leopard, veral die luiperd, want dit wys vir ons dat hierdie kat eintlik nog so 'n bietjie wilde dier in hom het. Okay, specifically the leopard, because it's trying to tell us that this cat still has a bit of wildness in her. She can't be tamed as easily as what the owners would like to think. But nou sê vraag 4, hoe weet 'n mens dat die kat se vel sag is? Skryf 1 woord uit strofe 1 neer. So how do we know that the cat's fur is soft? And you have to write down 1 word. And I'm just reminding you guys again, if they say 1 word, you only write down 1 word. If you write down 2 words by mistake, right, they are literally just looking at the first word. They're not marking the second word, even though the second word might be the right one. They're only going to mark the first one. So fluwelig, that is the word that's telling us that the cat's fur is really very soft. Fluwelig, it's velvety, so it's referring to the fabric velvet. And you all know, if you imagine a black cat lying in the sun, you can see the fur shining, and it is very soft when you do touch it. But dan, sê hulle, hoekom is die herhaling van en in reël 4 effektief? So they are actually asking you for the function of the polysyndeton, but they have just asked the question slightly different. So why is the repetition of the N in line 4 effective? Dit beklemtoon dat die kat uitgestrek lê met haar hele liggaam in die son. It's emphasizing that the cat is lying stretched out with her whole body in the sun. Dat keel en buik en bors die son kan vyf. Okay, so that everything is in the sun. Nou, watter vorm het die kat se gesig? Form means shape. So what shape is the cat's face? Dit is driehoekig. It's triangular. Okay, so ken maar die spelling van driehoekig. Know the spelling of driehoekig. Goed, dan het ons kies die korrekte antwoord. Skryf slegs die vraagnommer en die letter neer. Nou is dit 'n vraag vir ironie. Dit is nie 'n ironie dat die mens die kat reggemaak het, vers 10, want eintlik het die mens die kat A se wilde natuur hierdeur weggeneem, B die kat se natuurlike siklus verander, C die kat aanpasbaar gemaak, of D die kat beter gemaak. Okay, so sometimes the multiple choice is difficult. If we just look at the options, it says, it is ironic that that man has fixed the cat, according to line 10, because actually man has taken A, the wild nature of the cat away through doing this, or B, changed her natural cycle, C, made her adaptable, that is what the word aanpasbaar means, or D, made her better. Okay, now, definitely not made her better because there was nothing wrong with the cat. Making her adaptable isn't even an option. So between A and B, even wild cats, you know, cats that roam around at school or at businesses and stuff, if they are fixed, they still have their wild nature. It doesn't take the wild nature away. So what it is then is B, by fixing the cat, okay, the man has actually changed the natural cycle of the cat. But nou sê dit voltooi die volgende paragraaf deur die woorde in die lys hieronder te gebruik. Weereens moet jy net die woord langs die vraagnommer neerskryf. Once again, you will only write down the word next to the question number. So let's just look at the meaning of the word. Liefdelose means without love. Onverantwoordelike means irresponsible. Liefdevolle is if you're loving. And versigtige means careful. So now we've got die woorde arglistig en koud dui op die kat se optrede teenoor die mens. So if we look at the word arglistig and koud, it's indicating what kind of behavior or actions optrede towards man, so liefdelose. Even if you're not sure what the word arglistig means, you do know if you've got a cold attitude towards someone, you are not showing them any love. So is dit liefdelose optrede teenoor die mens. Die woord behoedsaam dui op die versigtige reaksie van die mens. Behoedsaam is to be careful, and versigtige also means to be careful. They are synonyms from one another. So die woord behoedsaam dui op die versigtige reaksie van die mens. Okay, hierdie twee vrae was bietjie moeiliker. These two questions were a little bit more difficult than some of the other questions that can be asked about the poem, but just try and break it up into sections. You know, you see the word coat, immediately you think, okay, that's not showing love, therefore leave the word that. Behoedsaam, okay, that means if you're careful, right? Versigtige, it means careful, but once again, you do need to have the vocab to actually understand these two questions. Otherwise, it is difficult, but please never ever in an exam leave questions like this out. Okay, because I always tell my kids, maybe the force is with you on that specific morning, and you do decide to pick the right answer, even if you weren't sure about it. Because I still mark question papers where kids sometimes leave out questions like these, and you've got options that you can fill in. And just maybe you get it right, and then it's marks you've gained, even if you didn't know what you were doing. So please don't leave multiple choice and fill in the missing words where they've given you the list out at all. Okay, now here is a lekker vraagje. Here's a nice question. It's once again testing your knowledge on your poetic devices, and you should all be able to get your full marks when you are doing this specific question. So dit sê kies die aanhaling in kolom B, wat by die letterkundige aspek in kolom A pas. So you have to look for the quote in column B that goes with the poetic device in column A. So kom ons kyk. Kyk eers metafoor, alliterasie, vergelyking en personifikasie. So we've got our drie beeldspraak things. We've got our metaphor, comparison, simile, or personification. Dan het ons alliterasie. We've got one of our halfrym, our alliteration. So now kyk ons. And we try and decipher this. Okay, let's say you should be able to identify this immediately in an exam, but let's say you are stressed, you had a late night, and maybe you paid more attention to other poems than to this poem, because it does happen. You have to study 10 poems. Maybe you struggled with this one more than the other poems, so this one you don't know as well. You should still be able to get these marks, and we do it through a process of elimination. So if we just look at A, buik behaaglik, B, dat kele en bors en buik die son kan sy, skerwe van 'n gaat, vloeibaar soos 'n blink reptiel, steeds eenselwig alle teerheid stuit. Okay, now we do our process of elimination. Alliteration, I know, is the repetition of the consonant. Usually in these papers, they indicate it, that you can see it. So without a doubt, I already know alliteration is A, buik behaaglik. Vergelyking, man said, you look for the word soos. So now you go through your list, and you see, oh ja, die, vloeibaar soos 'n blink reptiel. Okay, so now you immediately know, okay, so vergelyking is B. So I've already eliminated 2 that are easy. Now I'm left with 3 other options. Okay, so nou moet ons maar bietjie dink. Here the studying comes in. Alhoewel, ons het nou geleer dat keel en bors en buik die son kan sy. We know that the chest, or the throat, chest, abdomen is sucking the sun. That is personification, personificatie, that you know from studying your poem. And then we spoke about the skerwe van 'n gaat, the precious stones, that splinters of it, that refers to the cat's eyes. And then we know that is clear is for the metaphor. Okay, so in an exam situation where you are extremely stressed and you are not sure what is coming next, try and do a question like this by process of elimination. Okay, because it does happen. You've got your 10 poems, you study hard, and then you get into the exam, you're stressed, you might have had a late night. Also, you might have paid attention to some poems more than others. and then you're not sure or you've forgotten, the best way to approach this is then to do it by the process of elimination, and hopefully you then remember a little bit of what you have studied as well, and then that can help you to get your full mark. Because this is also easy marks, this is also a question you do not leave out in the exam. So multiple choice, fill in the missing words, match the columns, you try your best to answer those ones, you don't leave it out because you can get marks. And then you get a lot of marks in the process by doing questions like these. Okay, en dan het ons nommer 10. Smalend sluit sy haar oë, kronkel by my greep verby. Dit verwys hulle na reël 13 en 14. Nou sê 9.1.10a. Watter woord dui aan dat die kat die mens probeer terugbetaal? What word indicates that the cat is trying to give some payback to mankind? And this is the word smalend. Okay, it's also a difficult word. Remember, after that, it's like looking down upon someone. It's like, okay, you had me fixed. So now I will look down upon you and decide if you are worthy for you to touch me. Okay, so onthou maar dit. Die vraag, hoe betaal kat die mens terug? Skryf dit in jou eie woorde neer. So how does the cat get back at man? And you have to write it in your own words. If in any of your poetry questions, or even in your set work questions, they say skryf dit in jou eie woorde neer, right? Then you can't quote a line from the poem. You will not get any marks. If you quote a line from the poem, you have to then try and write it in your own words. Okay, so please, if it says skryf dit in jou eie woorde neer, you write it in your own words. So ons sal sê die kat ignoreer die mens. You can say the cat ignoring mankind, of die kat wil nie gestreel word nie. The cat doesn't want to be stroked. Okay, remember he wriggles past the owner when the owner stretches out his or her hand. So to pay back for the fact that they had her fixed, she's now ignoring her owners, and or she doesn't want to be stroked. So write in your own words. Dan nommer 11, hoe beklemtoon die digter dat die kat anoniem is? How does the poet emphasize that the cat is anonymous? Hoe doen hulle dit? Die kat het nie sy eie of spesifieke naam nie. The cat doesn't have her own or specific name. Rather use haar, okay, because it is a female cat. Don't you say? Die kat het nie haar eie of spesifieke naam nie. Okay, so she doesn't have a name, she's just cat. Okay, which is actually quite sad if you think about it. Okay, so wat moet julle onthou in hierdie gedig? What do you need to remember in this poem? Hierdie is 'n Italiaanse sonnet, net soos Huisie by die See. This is an Italian sonnet, just like Huisie by die See. Maak seker jy kan al jou beeldspraak identifiseer. You have to make sure that you can identify all your figures of speech. En jy moet seker maak jy verstaan die ironie in hierdie gedig. You have to make sure that you understand the irony in this poem. If they ask you about irony in this poem, and it's not a multiple choice question like we saw in the question paper, then your irony question is going to be worth 2 marks. Okay, so it is important that you do know what the irony is. Okay, so we've got kat, ons noem haar kat, right? So the fact that she's a pet, so it's a troeteldier, maar sy het nie 'n naam nie. Okay, so the fact that she's a pet but she doesn't have a name. Put in die veearts het haar reggemaak, the fact that she's been fixed, but there was nothing wrong with her in the first place. Man made that choice to prevent it of having little ones. So al hierdie goed is belangrik. Julle moet asseblief julle beeldspraak in elke liewe gedig kan identifiseer. It is extremely important to be able to identify your imagery. Kyk, daai vergelyking, personifikasie en metafoor. Because if you know that, that's the stuff they ask questions about at the end of the year. Okay, en dan môre, hoop ek kom kuier julle weer saam met my, 8 uur in die oggend, bietjie vroeg. Shem, I feel so sorry for you guys because 8 o'clock in the morning is early for teenagers. But I hope you come and visit again tomorrow morning. En die volgende les gaan ons na die gedig boekmerk kyk. As ook vrae uit 'n ou vraestel beantwoord. We're going to look at our next poem, bookmark, which means bookmark, and we're also going to answer questions from a past paper. Guys, I hope you have a lovely day, that you stay warm. The weather here in Johannesburg is actually quite nice. The sun is shining. Please follow us on social media at #LockdownESchool, #Castle Foundation, Sing Champions, at Africa Teen Geeks, at DBE_South Africa, and follow Africa Teen Geeks on YouTube. Kale, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate the fact that you always thank me at the end of every lesson. It's a pleasure. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Keep healthy, keep safe until tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock. Bye, guys.